Is 2023 and a quarterfinal against the third seed, the very dangerous Jessica Pegula.
It's women's singles quarterfinals action on Rod Laver Arena. Please welcome world number 24, Victoria Azarenka.
Ranked 24, but of course the former world number 1.
And their opponent, world number 3, Jessica Pegula.
28 years of age, only really getting into the prime of her career now. It's amazing to think that it was fully 10 years ago that Azarenka was winning the title on this very court, and yet there's only 5 years between the two of them in terms of age. Oh, rainbow making an appearance. It's been a sort of up and down day in terms of the weather, but we've already got one semi-finalist confirmed, and that is Elena Rybakina, the Wimbledon champion, who beat Ostapenko earlier, a straight sets victory, already through. But you know, big names have fallen in this tournament. No Iga Świątek, the world number 1, no Ons Jabeur, and a couple of unseeded players in Linette and Donna Vekic into the quarterfinals. So the winner of this one knows who they're going to play, but Jandy, you've got to just put that out of your mind and focus on the job in hand.
That's all that matters, is this moment.
Hi Jessie, this is Isabel. Okay, ladies, condition on this court, it will be the same. Live ELC review and also including the foot fault. And the rest condition is the same, okay? Any questions? No? Would you like to ask? Sorry, is it AO or Ken Rosewell? AO. AO? That's Ken Rosewell, your call, Jessie. Great seat. Yeah, can we take a picture this side, please? Thank you.
Well, that's a moment to savor for the mascot from the Hot Shots program. It really is. Crowd building up steadily here on Rod Laver Arena for the start of the night session, with the men's quarterfinal to come immediately afterwards as well. Well, it just must be almost a bit of a relief to have all that build-up done, and now you're on court, you're getting your warm-up underway, you can actually start to feel loose and feel that racket on ball and go, right, I'm getting into game mode.
I think that's always a factor when you play the evening match. You've got to wait kind of all day. You have your routines. You try to, for some players, get a practice in earlier in the day, go back to the room, rest up, maybe take a nap, and just start your day over and be ready, be fresh as possible for this match. Maybe get another hit just before it to warm up, but don't fully kind of relax until you get out there and you start getting a few swings at the ball and you kind of settle into that rhythm that you're used to getting. And when we look at Victoria Azarenka, there is a real rhythm that she has gotten into with regard to her game. That is what it takes to win a couple of major titles. Got to #1 in the world as well as a result of it, and spent about 50 weeks, just over 50 weeks at that world #1 position.
3
so
minutes.
already an impressive career with a lot of other wins as well.
In contrast to Victoria Azarenka, who is at her 15th Australian Open. This is just the 4th appearance here for Jessica Pegula because of that later break into the world's top 100. And when you look at the matches she's played in order to get to this quarterfinal, she's only dropped 18 games across the 4 rounds, which is the fewest amongst all the quarterfinalists. Pretty even in terms of those head-to-head results. That last meeting, 2022, was on a title run for Pegula at Guadalajara. Came right after her quarterfinal appearance in the US Open. So relatively recent meeting. It was on the hard court as well. This is Victoria Azarenka's pathway, and she's had a couple of late finishes, hasn't she, Shanda?
She's had a couple of tough battles the last couple of rounds. Maybe her first round against Cain, another Australian Open champion. That was one we were looking forward to, and Azarenka really showed her maturity, her experience in that match, and then has had to battle to get to this stage. So we'll see what she has left physically as well from the start of this match.
The fourth round match that Azarenka played to get here really was the late finish, wasn't it? It was a 3-set battle anyway, but she came off court at about 2:20 in the morning and came into the media press conference afterwards and greeted everyone with a smile and a good morning rather than good evening. And that was I think it was gone 3 a.m. by the time she was in speaking to the press. But Pegula's run, well, quite remarkable when you see that she is yet to drop a set.
She's had a couple of tight wins, a tie-break set against Sasnovich in the second round, and then in the last match against Barbora Krejcikova, it was a battle in the first set, one of the best sets of tennis that you will see. And it was Pegula who held her nerve, held her belief, and hit the ball big off both sides. And that's certainly what we expect to see tonight in this matchup as well.
This match will be the best of 3 tie-break sets.
She's played pretty clinical, sort of business-like tennis to get through. She had that battle, but she's always seemed so calm and in control of her own game and her own mind. She seems a real strength.
Yeah, I kind of asked her about that after the match in the on-court interview, and you know, she had a set point, lost it, it got back even, and a lot of players would have really panicked, but Pegula just stayed the course, stayed solid, and you know, she said after the match, you know, I'm pretty calm, I'm pretty chill out there on court for the most part, and we certainly see that in her game.
Well, pretty calm temperatures and conditions for the players this evening. The roof has been closed most of the day because of showers, and that certainly has a bearing on the way that the ball moves, the atmosphere inside this arena, so they haven't got to worry about rain, that's for sure. Who do you think having the roof closed will help the most tonight?
You know, I tend to think it'll help Victoria Azarenka maybe a little bit more. I mean, it's 50-50. Both players hit the ball so clean. I think they'll both enjoy these sort of regulated conditions, no real wind, no breeze. And so Pegula certainly, I think, will be able to hit through the court even more. But maybe this adds just a little pace to Victoria Azarenka's ground strokes as opposed to the slower conditions that sort of happen at night with the roof open.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please,
we are ready for the second of the women's quarterfinals. Elena Rybakina already through, and one of Pegula or Azarenka will be joining her in the semi-finals.
Ready, play.
There's not going to be many secrets between these two, but it's going to be about executing, about hitting the right shots from the right positions in the court. And immediately we see Azarenka looking to move the ball. That is going to be the formula for
confident starts from Azarenka.
There's not going to be many secrets between these two, but it's going to be about executing, about hitting the right shots from the right positions in the court. And immediately we see Azarenka looking to move the ball. That is going to be the formula for her as often as possible.
Good play. The crowd have enjoyed that point.
30
Now, one of the impressive parts of Pegula's game has been her anticipation. first step, I think, has gotten quicker over the last 12 months, and just her ability to read the play. Almost turned that point around there.
Again, another great point. First, Pegula being pulled all over across the court by Azarenka.
30-15.
And comes up with a drop shot.
Yeah, that's going to be a terrific counter to the hard-hitting, deep ground strokes that Pegula can throw out there. The drop shot is difficult to gear up for. Very nicely done.
Vote.
Pegula's backhand is her big weapon, and that shot she can hit to any area of the court, but the forehand, it's not far off anymore. I mean, she can hit to either corner, and that shot has become a real weapon, as we see David Witt.
Out.
I think we're seeing already in these early stages that we could have some
40-30.
lengthy and interesting points throughout this match. Neither player willing to give an inch.
This will be first strike tennis pretty often. Both players looking to step in, control the baseline, and try to control the tempo of these rallies.
Vote.
Game, Azarenka.
A hold for Azarenka. That's his first one under the belt.
First game.
Azarenka looks pretty quick off the mark. She looks like she's ready for the ball. I mean, a couple of those returns from Pegula, she was quickly out of her serve and beautifully behind those shots. Those are good signs for Azarenka, getting a good start here on serve.
The coach in the centre, Maxime Chitakian. On the right-hand side, she's got an Aussie in her camp. In fact, physio joined up with the team last year. Used to be involved in cricket in South Australia. Pretty heavy favour there in favour of Pegula, which is the 3rd seed versus the 24th seed. You can understand. What does your instinct tell you?
Yeah, I think Pegula's the favorite in this match, although Azarenka can certainly turn things around. When you take into account the form that Pegula has been in, recent match wins, her ranking now, how she's gotten to this stage of the tournament, all that kind of points in Pegula's favor.
Oh, what a great pass. Saw Azarenka advancing.
15.
This was a fantastic point from Pegula. Azarenka didn't do much wrong. Maybe could have placed that approach a bit better, especially going cross court, but what a pass from Pegula under pressure.
Vote.
returners on tour. Gonna look to attack those second serves.
Out.
Some early pressure on Pegula's serve.
Out.
There's a break point.
30-14.
Got first serve in as she wanted. Big early chance now for Azarenka. Well, the early break goes the way of the 24th seed. The world number 3 finds herself a breakdown in this opening set.
Azarenka leads 2 games to 1.
We've got Laura Robson courtside for us. Laura, what is it like down there, and how have you seen these first couple of games?
Yeah, I just think Azarenka's come out with way more firepower than she has done the last couple of matches. And when you compare this ball striking to how she played Zhu Lin the other night, it's just much faster off the ground. She's going for a shot. She's coming forward a lot already. And I just think she knows she's got to do that because Pegula's been playing outrageous tennis.
She does look absolutely dialed up for this one, doesn't she, Chanda?
Well, and it was interesting, that first service game, Pegula, she got 5 out of 6 first serves in, but only won one of the points behind her first serve. Clearly focused on getting that first serve going, maybe losing a little speed as a result. I mean, we'll see if that changes a little bit over the course of the match. Sometimes you start with a certain plan in mind, and when you see where your opponent is, how they're responding, got to make slight adjustments.
Azarenka's just got so much experience behind her, which does have to count at stages of slams like this, albeit Pegula's been at quarterfinals of 3 of the slams in 2022. Yeah, that was great play.
30-15.
Gotta give Pegula just a little more confidence getting that shot to fall. She went for it, took a little more risk, and it paid off.
Oh, bit of fortune. What's an important service game
40-15.
for Azarenka to consolidate on this early break of serve.
Well, Azarenka, one of the most intense players out there, and sometimes that little extra intensity, that little extra effort, get the luck to fall as well.
This time Pegula much more in charge of the points.
That's a good play from Pegula, putting herself in that mid-court area, taking a little extra time away from Azarenka.
I like that we've seen Azarenka already drop in to a couple backhand slices just to mix things up and slow things down, because when Pegula gets in that hitting rhythm from the back of the court, she's almost unstoppable these last couple of weeks.
There is the hole for Azarenka. She backs up the break of serve, and she's charged to a 3-love lead.
Azarenka leads 3 games to 0.
Just 12 minutes of play, 3 games down, and not one yet on the board for Pegula. You just want to try and slow things and get a good service game in now.
Yeah, just keep the focus small, work on getting on the board, getting her service game going, and it's just a break. So there are certainly positives for Pegula to be telling herself right now. 3-love can seem like a much bigger lead than it actually is, but Pegula's definitely got to get something going here.
Plenty of crowd still filling this arena. And they're going to have to hurry up as well. Players will be ready to play. So much for Pegula to do. First thing, just hold serve. It's only 1 break that she needs back.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Players are ready. Any available seats? Thank you.
It's a lot of people to get seated.
Thank you, especially behind the players. Ladies and gentlemen.
They've actually brought in a rule that if you're in the upper tier, you can move out and about whenever, and I think that's such a great idea. I hope more tournaments take that on.
Problem is, there's a lot of people coming down the lower reaches.
Not up.
Well, even just tracking that back and staying in the point was something for Pegula.
15.
Azarenka is really driving through the ball, but then some of her balls, she gets a little more height. It bounces up a little more and just a little more uncomfortable for Pegula around that shoulder area. She likes it a little bit lower in the strike zone.
It's a point on the board.
Even
How well is Azarenka moving tonight, guys? Side to side, she's been fantastic.
yeah, she's been quick. I mean, you notice it getting out of her serve and that first step in either direction. She has been on it so far. Curious, Laura, how are you seeing the heights from your position of the Azarenka shots?
Well, Pegula definitely is playing it a bit lower, as she does against most people, to be honest. She's got to be one of the lowest percentages over the net out on tour, but Azarenka just mixing up the pace with the forehand a little more, adding in some height when needed. I'm kind of watching this thinking, Why doesn't Azarenka play like this all the time? You know, the last couple of matches that we saw from her, she was a bit hit and miss with the depth on her forehand, and she's just so committed to a shot tonight, and that's just making the biggest difference.
And here's another break point. Well, she's come up with 2 crackers, Pegula, under pressure.
Well, maybe an explanation for Laura, your question is that Azarenka didn't really know much about Zhu. If you listen to her post-match, didn't know where she had come from in terms of tennis. Was not quite ready. This match against Pegula, Azarenka knows what she's got to bring to the table and seems absolutely ready for the battle.
Fold.
Break point again. Some frustration showing.
I think that's frustration about the balls. She's just complaining that it dies once you take the pace off the ball, and that's what Azarenka's done on that last forehand. Slowed things down, gone for the height again. Draws the error straight away.
That's a nice forehand. Really, the little steps. You could hear Pegula working to get in position and to lean on that ball a little bit more. I think it's a little bit of the challenge Pegula had at the Tour Finals. Didn't win a match, and she struggled because she wasn't getting a lot of pace from the court. It was indoors, one of the courts they lay down. It felt a little bit dead, and that was a real struggle for her style.
Has a chance to hold, a precious chance.
Advantage, Pegula.
Just on how quickly Azarenka has sort of come out firing for this match. It's got to help when you know exactly what time your match is starting, because that last round match finishing at 2 AM, she's waiting such a long time to come on court.
Deuce.
Talking about the Tour Finals in Dallas as this game goes almost to the 6-minute mark. Top 8 singles players, top 8 doubles teams. It was a tough experience for Pegula. Maybe it's one she was able to learn from and apply it in this match.
Fold.
Left, second serve.
She had a strong showing in the United Cup, didn't she, in the lead up to this tournament, and a really good win over Iga Świątek in the semi-finals there. What a return. Talk about being one of the best returners in the game.
Those courts in Sydney were playing a lot faster than Rod Laver is, and she was just able to get so many free points off the return there, leaning into Świątek's second serve. So I think it's a slightly different type of conditions tonight, especially playing at night. The roof is closed.
Fold.
That's a good move from Pegula, a way to add some weight to her game
Deuce.
and minimize the risk taking that ball out of the air, shortening the time that Azarenka had to react. The minute Azarenka went to the one hand off the backhand, Pegula was moving forward.
It's an almighty struggle to hold at the moment, isn't it? She hold off a 5th break point now. Tremendous depth to save. Break point number 5.
Deuce.
This is the kind of fighting that Pegula's got to do at this stage. Try to get herself into this match. Good competing, finding the line.
Out.
Again, I think it was just that rhythm change that threw her off. That ball didn't come through the court maybe as much as Pegula was expecting. She kind of had to pause there in her swing, and it just wasn't as continuous. Very slight difference that changes the trajectory.
Oh, another chance for Azarenka goes by. Pegula is refusing at the moment to be broken again. Up in intensity during that point.
Now she hits that drop shot so well, and off the backhand you've got to respect her topspin, and that one gets good disguise, doesn't bounce up too high, it kind of dies a little bit on the court, and Pegula ready for the reply.
Game.
Finally, a hold after 10 grueling minutes. And there's got to be great value in that for Pegula.
I get the feeling that Azarenka's hitting a lot cross-court tonight. That's what it seems like courtside. And because of that, she's just getting that extra depth. But it gives her a real goal to focus on once Pegula gets into that rhythm. You know, deep back cross-court. And then it's a pretty easy tactic, isn't it?
Fault.
Azarenka could not do much about that.
It's interesting when you think about what you just said, Laura, and you know, it's almost like that cross-court down the line drill. One person hits cross-court, one person hits down the line. If the person hitting cross-court hits with enough depth, just a little bit of an angle, the person hitting down the line's got to come back inside the court. Some of Pegula's shots are kind of having that feel.
Fault. Out.
You think about one of the strengths of Pegula's game is her ability to hit up the line. She's able to open up the court against a lot of opponents that way. But right now, she's finding it difficult because of how well Azarenka's covering and then hitting back cross court.
I'm not happy with herself.
15-13.
A bit of a chink of light perhaps here for Pegula. 15-30 on the Azarenka serve.
Fault.
Pegula has such great defense, but Azarenka with the final say.
31.
I'd love to know the numbers on the rally hit points at the moment, because Pegula must be way further behind the baseline than she usually is. Azarenka's the one coming forward.
Out.
40-30.
You can see Pegula is just a bit further behind the baseline consistently. 3/4 of a meter difference in terms of their positioning, and right now it's Azarenka winning that battle.
Fault. Out.
Deuce.
Can Pegula find a little bit of something here?
Maybe that miss from Azarenka give her a little bit of a boost. We have seen so few unforced errors so far from the Azarenka racket.
Out.
And Azarenka has 8 winners to just 4 unforced errors. That is very clean playing these first 5 games.
Fault.
Oh, on game points.
Yeah, sometimes Azarenka can have to chase that serve, and that one was falling away from her into the court, and as a result, hit down on it into the net.
turns it on again when she needs to.
And again, that forehand that Pegula had to hit was just a little bit higher from Azarenka. She got enough spin and height, gave herself time to get back into the court, and it made it a more difficult shot for Pegula. Smart point construction.
The hold for 4-1, and Azarenka remains a breakup in this opening set.
Azarenka leads 4-1.
Well, important for Azarenka first that early break, now consistently being able to hold serve. It's keeping herself in front and not allowing Pegula a look back in.
And I think it was also important for Azarenka to hold there because she had so many chances to get the second break in Pegula's last service game, and it can always be a little deflating. You can just lose a little bit of that push, that energy, and Azarenka able to maintain it enough to get her serve tucked away and to keep her nose out in front with that early break.
Yeah, 6 opportunities in the previous Pegula service game for Azarenka to go double break up.
Find your seats quickly. Time.
It's been a fabulous Australian Open so far. Record-breaking crowd numbers. A little dip in the weather today. It's been glorious, really, over most of the tournament. One day of bad rain earlier in the piece, but certainly settled.
Well, speaking of conditions and weather, this is the first match that Pegula has played at night, and I think that's really playing a part here. For me, she just looks like she's struggling with the balls that much more, and it was something that Keys in particular spoke about after her match playing at night, just how different it was coming off the racket and how much more dead it felt on the bounce.
That's a significant factor, isn't it? All the things you've got to contend with. Azarenka having a couple of nights matches, okay, for her it meant a couple of very late finishes, which messes with you in different ways. But at night and with the roof closed.
15.
She hasn't been on court for as long as Azarenka. In total, Pegula 5 hours and 16 minutes, and Azarenka 7 hours and 20, largely because of that match with Zhu Lin.
Another terrific play from Azarenka. So, Laura, do you think that with the roof closed, it helps offset that deadness just a little bit, or is it about the same?
I think it's about the same, actually. You know, it helps definitely to not have that breeze coming through the court, but in terms of the ball bouncing, it just seems like you need that heat of the day to get the pace.
And maybe it's also a benefit the fact that Azarenka did play at night this event. Her last round, she had to work through after a little bit of a slow start.
Pegula keeping Azarenka guessing which way she was going to go towards the error.
40-15.
She got a little bit lucky there, Pegula, because Azarenka had a good look at that pass, and Pegula was around the service line, but her making those moves, I think, is positive right now.
Fault. Fault.
Well, allowing Azarenka just a little look in. Still game point, however.
Game, Pegula.
Bit more relief for Jessica Pegula and the third seed. Second game on the board, but Azarenka remaining a break up.
If I'm David Witt here, I'm leaning over the side saying, look, if she can play at this level for the rest of the match, then too good. And I think Jess is probably feeling the same way. If she was this good consistently, well, her ranking would be a lot higher, because for me, she's playing top 10 right now, Azarenka. So you just have to wait for the intensity to drop slightly, a couple errors to creep in, and Pegula is right back in this.
Well, she's not dropping that intensity just yet.
I also think Pegula's got to work to maintain more of her positioning closer to that baseline. That's where she's playing her best. That'll allow her to use more of her body going forward into the court and just maybe help counter some of that feeling of court being a bit dead.
That was over the baseline.
That's good work from Pegula. That is a point where you'll start feeling the lungs afterwards, but that is the kind of grit she needs right now. Find a way, stay in these points, maybe get some missed shots from Azarenka.
Saw that very young-looking photo of Azarenka in the brochure just a few minutes ago, but yeah, you think of how long she's been around for. Clocking up during this tournament, her 150th main draw win. 14th woman in the open era to reach that many. It's her 59th Grand Slam. She's got 21 career singles titles. And 2 of those being here in 2012 and 2013.
Yeah.
This has been Azarenka's most successful major. You consider all the wins she has, more than anybody who was in this draw. Just understands how to play on this surface.
And has been playing slams for 16 years. He's had a son in that time as well, born in December 2016. She had that time out and returned at Wimbledon the following year. Oh, she made it. And she needed to.
40-30.
You can see Pegula starting to find her range, her rhythm a little bit more. Held that shot just long enough.
must at least stay in touch with the Azarenka serve. Find a break point from somewhere.
Fault. Out.
Deuce.
Takes her a little closer.
Such a good play from Azarenka, going with the high ball, keeping Pegula back behind the baseline. Not as comfortable taking that ball on the rise and moving in. And Azarenka playing for that second ball.
Fault.
Well played. Got to keep this game going. Got to open up an opportunity for herself.
Well, that previous point, the forehand speed from Azarenka is just so much better, and it's the thing that's making the most difference for me. I think it's got to be, you know, 10k faster than previous rounds for sure.
Out.
Well, here is the break point that Pegula desperately needs.
And one for you, Chandler. Do you feel like her forehand speed has gone up because Jess is giving her more pace to work with, or do you think she just knows that's her only choice tonight?
I think it's a combination, but more that she knows she has to bring it tonight.
Out.
Saves the break back point.
Deuce.
10-minute game earlier with Pegula managing to hold.
And the thing that keeps standing out is how Azarenka is forcing Pegula to hit on the move so often, keeping her off balance. And very rarely does Azarenka hit to the same side 3 times in a row. She may hit 2 cross court, then she's looking to change the direction. And that is also giving Pegula fits so far.
Fault. Out.
Well, it's the hold that Azarenka wanted, and Pegula a missed opportunity. Azarenka remains a break up at 5-2.
Balls, please. Azarenka leads 5-2.
Well, it had the coaching team up off their feet during that match. They knew how important that was to maintain the lead at this crux stage of the set. Keep that break intact.
And you expect Pegula to raise her level from where she started the first couple of games of the match, and it's been important for Azarenka to match that and keep pushing herself, and so far that is exactly what Victoria Azarenka is doing.
It's been a very impressive first set from her so far. She's looked utterly focused and energized from the moment she came out on court.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please find your seats quickly. Time.
Well, the world number 3, Jessica Pegula, has not dropped a set yet through Australian Open 2023, but now she is serving to stay in this opening set against the 24th seed and former champion.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, especially behind the players. Thank you.
Still the
Take your seats quickly.
crowd flooding in at every change of ends.
Thank you. Players are waiting for you. Thank you.
No matter how many times the chairs say take any available seat, you see people literally pass up open seats to keep walking.
Staring at their tickets. What number am I? What row?
Vote. Out.
There were still a few people moving behind Pegula, maybe
Love 15.
5 or 6 rows up. Azarenka, though, was ready. She was not paying it any mind. She is in such a rhythm right now.
Vote.
It's funny, isn't it? Because the other night when Azarenka was playing keys, she was complaining to the chair umpire about people moving in the upper tier. And the umpire said, well, look, there's nothing I can do about that. They're allowed to. And now, 5, 6 rows from the bottom, she can't even see. She's in the zone.
Vote. Out.
Well, Azarenka got a little bit of good luck early in this set, so turn around. It's a bit of fair play.
It's pretty at a pretty important time as well for Pegula.
Out.
Well, Azarenka gets 2 set points. She's been in charge so much of this opening set. Needed a good first serve, got it. Still faces set point though.
Deuce.
Really good under pressure.
Yeah, that serve slowed up just a bit. The one before was Pegula's fastest serve tonight, 175 Ks. That one, 152. Azarenka just not quite expecting it.
Vote. Out.
Advantage, Pegula.
And that is not normally a backhand Pegula misses. Had a good look at it. Staring at her racket. Maybe that's the culprit.
Not quite out of trouble yet.
Let us. Advantage, Pegula.
She gets that serve ticking. Very, very hard to counter.
Yeah, that is Pegula's fastest serve of the night. It is slowly inching up to her tournament fastest.
Out.
Game, Pegula.
Azarenka will have to serve for this opening set. Significant hold, saving a couple of set points. But now truly up against it.
Oh, it's felt like Pegula,
Azarenka leads.
she's been behind this entire match, and it has felt like she's been considerably behind. But because she's been battling, holding on to serve, it's still just one break, and this puts additional pressure back on Azarenka now.
Out.
Speaking.
Fold.
Oh, that's just too good from Azarenka, it really is.
If Jess wants to get herself back in there, she's got to get further up the court. I thought the backhand second serve return, she could have gone a lot bigger on, and it kind of landed mid-court. Azarenka's then able to dictate off the third ball, but that's usually Pegula's absolute bread and butter.
Azarenka can start to see the finish line in this opening set.
Fold.
Set points again.
$40-15.
3 millimeters.
And it looked like Pegula was working to not be pushed so far back after that shot. Tried to close off just enough court and allowed that to be an outright winner.
Still set points. Oh, that's a great save. Pegula fights on.
Yes.
By far the best 2 points of the match from Pegula, and it's the way that she's forcing herself off the court that's making a difference. I think under pressure she knows she's got to step up with something, but this is the tennis that she's usually been playing for the last kind of year, I guess.
Forward.
Well, that much might be a little bit of tension.
Advantage.
4 set points that Azarenka hasn't been able to convert.
It's the pressure from the opponent as well. All of a sudden Pegula rips a couple big second serve returns, and then you draw the double fault.
Forward.
Here is the twist. From set points down, Pegula has got us back on serve.
Azarenka leads 5-4.
Well, it came late, but it came, the break back.
Better late than never. And you consider Pegula started this match down 3-love, points to go down 4-love. And yet here she is back on serve with a good bit of the momentum now, because she has just been battling, finding ways to hang in some of these points. And now it just feels like she's found more of a rhythm, playing a little closer to the baseline and just trying to take more control of these rallies.
Laura's absolutely spot on when saying we've just seen in those last maybe 3 points, the Pegula that we've seen throughout the tournament against
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please find
our
your
ranked
seats
opponents,
quickly.
certainly throughout the year of 2022. Some champagne tennis that has brought us to the point when we're back on serve in this opening set. Azarenka had 2 set points on the Pegula serve, 2 set points on her own serve.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Behind the players,
And yet was broken.
please find your seats quickly. Thank you.
So how will Azarenka react to that situation? That's the Pegula camp.
Thank you. Players are ready. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Now Azarenka unwilling to play, with people still moving behind the court.
Thank you. Any available seats for now? Thank you.
It's the contrast, isn't it? Laura noting earlier, she was just in the zone and didn't
a couple of games
care.
ago, it didn't matter.
Pretty different now. Quick service game would be absolute gold here for Pegula.
Forward.
15.
That's a big time move from Azarenka. Immediately moving forward after the return.
50-13.
Not giving Pegula a chance to breathe there.
Well into the net once again. Imposing herself once more, and 2 more set points.
50-14.
It has been an impressive opening set from Azarenka. Not fazed by being broken back. She's taken this first set 6 games to 4. Oh, she was plugged in, she was energized. She got the early break. Stumbled over a few set points, but ultimately closed it out.
Yeah, she kind of caught Pegula sleeping just a bit. Those couple of moves into the net took Pegula by surprise. They were perfectly timed, and it's really what opened up that game and allowed Azarenka to get over the finish line in this first set. Good numbers from her in terms of winners to unforced errors, just 1 more unforced than winners. That number shifted from the beginning, kind of the middle stages of the first set, but still better than Pegula, who made just a few more errors at some critical moments. But that last game on return from Azarenka, that was the aggression that she's so known for. We had some extended rallies in that first set, very physical points, some long games. Pegula had to battle on serve to keep herself in it. We saw some tremendous ball striking from both players, but it was Azarenka who played much closer to the baseline, taking ground away, and that is partly what helped her stay in control over the course of the first set. It was an hour and 5-minute first set. For a 6-4 scoreline, that is a very physical, long set.
Time.
Azarenka taking all the time she can right now, Laura.
Yeah, I just think that net charges from Azarenka was the real key factor there, and just forced herself to keep coming forward in that last game. So I think for Pegula, I feel like she's very much still in this, but she's just got to keep reminding herself to play up on the baseline, go for a bit more. I think Pegula needs a lot more width. I think it's going too much down through the middle of the court, and Azarenka's just able to soak up that pace. But it's just minor things now. I think this is Pegula's match to turn around, because if Azarenka can keep up this level, well, too good, but I think it's going to be very difficult.
And already, yeah, the hour on the clock for that opening set. Azarenka has been out on court for a long, long time in this tournament already.
It was nice to see Rod Laver in the stands, and he had to have been enjoying those pushes into the net by Azarenka.
Well, I spotted someone else who, Chanda, you will have no idea who this is, but Alison will appreciate it. It's Steve Smith, the Aussie cricketer in the front row, just a couple of seats down from Rod Laver, actually.
Quite a number of tennis fans amongst the cricket fraternity.
Now.
30 line.
And this is where Pegula's got to be a little careful to maintain this level that she set towards the latter stages of that first set. I mean, she had to have felt like she was fully in it, and Azarenka kind of took that set at the end, so not easy to reset, get back to it.
40 line. Game, Azarenka.
Quick service game to love. Gets her up and running in the second set.
First game, second set.
It has been a physical battle so far, the length of time on court, but yeah, those figures say it all. Both players putting an awful lot of work.
Yeah, but it's Jessie Pegula, the high-intensity changes. She's had almost twice as many as Azarenka because Azarenka's moving the ball, not hitting to the same place twice. She's sprinted more. Pegula has 22 over the course of the match so far, and more distance covered. And that is really telling the tale of how physical this first set, this match has been so far.
Laura mentioned cricket, and one of the newer members of Victoria Azarenka's coaching team has come from the cricket world, and there's actually quite a story about him joining her team almost a little bit by accident a year ago, and she was playing in the tournament at Memorial Drive and needed a physio, and the message went out amongst Tennis South Australia, and Alan Obst saw the email and thought, oh, I'm about to get married in a few days. It's probably a junior player. I'll let that one go. You got a follow-up email. We really need your particular skills. You're well qualified for this. It's the former world #1. It's Azarenka. So he thought, oh, I maybe better answer the email. So he went and gave her treatment. And she really liked him. Felt that she bonded with him. Asked if he could come back again in another couple of days. That's him on the right-hand side. Alan had to say, well, I can't, I'm afraid I'm getting married that day. On the day of the wedding, another message came through. He had to say, I'm really sorry, I'm being married today. But he did go back to Adelaide the day after the wedding from the Barossa Valley and gave her some further treatments, and she invited him to go to the Australian Open and be part of her team last year, which he did, and he's been following, he's left the cricket world and he's been chasing tennis around the world ever since.
Rest is history.
Fold.
Just gives you a little insight into how Azarenka really pushes when she knows and feels she needs something.
She wanted a break point. She's got it again early.
40. Game, Azarenka.
Well, the breaks happened again early in the second set. Pegula is struggling to stave off this Azarenka force that's coming at her.
These are critical moments. Azarenka just playing this perfectly, and really from the final game of the first set, things have seemed to speed up so quickly. It's only been about 8 or so minutes, and it's Azarenka who is again firmly in control now of the second set.
Flat, second serve.
Change-up from behind the baseline.
Well, I was just about to say, we haven't seen Jess make many adjustments, but I'm not sure if that's the adjustment that we were looking for, the drop shot from that. But I just still feel that there's too many balls going through the middle third of the court, and I think usually that would be where you draw the errors from Azarenka's forehand side, but not tonight because she's so committed to moving through the shot. And so if you're Pegula, there's just been no other adjustments. It's like she had the plan A, but then not so much the plan B.
Pegula won that point, but for me, that's an example of where she could make an adjustment. That return, she had Azarenka lunging, and instead of going in and closing off the net, she had to hit 2 extra balls. And over the course of the match, that has not been successful for Pegula. She gets it done there, but it just makes life a lot tougher. And those 2 sneak-in plays from Azarenka from 15-all in that 5-4 game where Pegula was serving, that was the essence of what we really haven't seen from Pegula consistently. And she's the one who's been mostly behind and has to do a little bit more right now.
Gets the error, and Pegula has break points
15-14
to get back on serve. And this is what she wasn't able to do early in the first set, was get that break back at an early stage. Yep, got in behind a good first serve. Finished it off.
30-14.
Potentially another adjustment that Jess could be making is on these wide balls here where Azarenka's coming forward. She's got to stop playing them up. I think she's just got to commit to a passing shot, try and keep it low, and then at least make Azarenka play the tougher volley underneath the net.
Game, Pegula.
Azarenka is broken, and so Pegula has got the break back she desperately needed. And we're on serve then in the second set.
2 games to
Azarenka,
1.
2 games to 1. Well, that was vital, wasn't it? The first set is done, but going down early in the second, gets herself back on level terms, can almost start again.
Yeah, and it's been, at least for Pegula, a positive sign. But overall, she's playing a little too far behind the baseline. You look at the average rally hit points for Azarenka in blue. She is pretty much on top of that baseline so often. Pegula in yellow, she is almost a meter behind the baseline. That is about 3 feet or so, and that is significant when you think about the depth that Azarenka has been able to get consistently on her shots, and also Azarenka's ability to rush Pegula and take some time away.
Thank you,
That
ladies and gentlemen.
position
Please take your
more
seats
on top of the
quickly.
baseline has been
Time.
crucial. Can Pegula change that as this match goes on?
Former world #1 with the early break, but she's been broken back. Jessica Pegula has worked her way up the rankings pretty rapidly, from world #18 to world #3 in just the last 12 months alone. Enjoying her career high ranking now. And needs to play to it. She's got a chance now, back on level terms.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Ready for play. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, behind the players. Thank you. Pegula.
Azarenka just struck that so deep.
She's also getting
Pegula.
set up very early, and so Pegula having to guess, run to one side, and Azarenka holding it just long enough to take it to the other.
Now,
30-15.
One of the strengths of Pegula's game is her ability to stay calm, very measured out there. That may come in handy right now.
Not gone her way.
30.
now,
40-30.
So important for Pegula now to hold serve, having got that break back. Not allow Azarenka to get back in again straight away.
fold.
Great striking from the former world number one.
And because Pegula is just a little further back, her balls are falling a little shorter. And Azarenka has been able to turn the tables. That one right there allowed Azarenka to lean in, create that open space.
Out.
Advantage, Pegula.
That was a little ambitious from Pegula. She's done a nice job with the drop shot off the backhand side, but her body weight moving sideways, well behind the baseline, and trying to go to that shot. Not a high percentage play.
Again, so deep from Azarenka. Pegula ending up off balance.
Advantage,
Pegula's
Azarenka.
just not loving her backhand side at the moment. She's trying to play too far around on the forehand, but when the ball's coming through the court so quickly, trying to play and not being in position, it's just ending up way too close to her body.
Break points for Azarenka. Well, 3 breaks of serve in a row, and it's the lower-ranked player, the former world number one, Azarenka, a breakup once again.
Now that is just
Azarenka
impressive
leads
hitting from
3
Azarenka.
games to 1.
Missed a couple of balls during that game, one mishit forehand, but she has continued to swing out and trust her game.
She's come out with a very particular plan, and she has really worked to it.
Well, and then on the other side, as we can see just here, she was asking her coach, what am I supposed to do? What am I doing out here? Trying to tell David Witt, I don't know where to go.
Did he reply back, get
say, what's the
inside the
answer?
court?
It's exactly these sorts of situations where
Thank you, please.
the allowance of coaching from the sidelines should be coming into its own. The player really is feeling a little lost. Quick to react, but still couldn't quite get there.
I couldn't see what David Witt said back, but it's just, to me, one of those situations where Pegula thought coming in that the Azarenka forehand was going to be the weakness, and that's where she needed to go through fast down the middle, which is usually what works, but not tonight. And because of that, she just feels a little lost.
Where problem solving mid-match and making adjustments comes into its own for the very best players.
Oh, and you also take into consideration Pegula. She's comfortable at the net. She's a good doubles player. She spends a lot of time up there. That is another area she can go to, but it's so hard to think of all of that when you're in the middle of a match and you're under pressure. You also consider, as Laura said, when that initial game plan doesn't really work, and that's been the playbook on a player, when that doesn't work on a particular night, it is hard to kind of switch tracks, settle down enough to see what's going on out there.
Saw that stat that whenever Azarenka does get a break in the first 4 games of a set, she goes on to win at 87% of the time. From defense to blistering attack and finesse.
And you could almost see that drop shot coming a mile away, though. That was the worst drop shot from Pegula's racket, apart from that missed backhand. But that one high, sat up, and it seemed like she was just bailing out of the point, and Azarenka using that last bit of energy to get it done here.
Pegula said to her coach before that point, the balls are so beeping slow. And I just think she's struggling to find the winners that she usually would. And because of that, she's in panic mode. That's when the drop shot comes in.
So when things are slow, that's more opportunity to get inside the court.
Step up.
Get to the net.
Let.
And it's so interesting because we've seen Azarenka do it. And sometimes when you see your opponent do something and it's successful, that's a good indicator that maybe I need to get into that position on my side of the court.
Well, it's a hold for 4-1, and Azarenka is really looking dominant now. 4-1 and a set to love.
Azarenka leads 4-1.
I think these are the kinds of situations in matches where you've got a player who is as good as Jessie Pegula is. You want to see her compete a little bit better at this stage of a match. You may still lose it, but find a way to stay close, to stay even. She did a terrific job in the first set of battling and keeping herself in it. Play 2 out of 3 sets that way, and if your opponent keeps playing at the level Azarenka's playing at, then it's too good.
Yeah, you've got to hand it to them if they can do that.
She seems, Pegula, still surprised that Azarenka continues to play at this level, and it's getting late really quickly for her.
Very much in dangerous territory for
Thank you,
Pegula.
ladies and gentlemen. Please find your seats
Prospect
quickly.
of an exit here.
Time.
Quarter to 9 local time. The sun's sinking in Melbourne. Our hope sinking for Jessica Pegula. As the man our court is named after.
Thank you, ladies and
Centre of
gentlemen.
his shots. He gets the
Ready
front
for
row
play.
seats.
Thank you.
Of course, always.
Every time. So good to see him join the tennis here as many nights as he wants to be.
Love 15.
Troubling times, really testing times. Be a big audience, I'm sure, in the States watching and supporting Jessica Pegula, and more so than the contingent around the Buffalo Bills. NFL team her father owns. She needs all the support
Love 13.
she can get at the moment to come back from here. She's been wearing the number 3 badge on her shorts in honor of the Bills player who had a cardiac arrest earlier in January.
50-30.
But by that look we got down the Walk of Champions, we're reminded of how long ago it was, a decade ago, that Azarenka was on this court lifting a trophy. Sort of feels the way she's playing like a bit of a rolling back of the years. Made a run to the final of the US Open in 2020, but at her first final since 2013.
When we look at the length of some of these rallies, when rallies are more extended, Pegula, she's got a bit of the advantage. 12 of those points won to just 8 for Azarenka, but it's the rallies between 5 and 9 shots, and even the under 5 shot rallies where Azarenka is the one who is finding more success, and she's been able to create more of those shorter rallies as well. Just the sheer number of rallies that don't go over 10 shots, that is to Azarenka's advantage.
Game Azarenka.
Azarenka is just one game away from the semi-finals.
Balls, please.
It's been like a commanding performance from the former world #1. And she's going to have some new balls to serve with in an attempt to serve for a place in the semi-finals.
Well, Azarenka looks like she's steaming ahead here, but I think a lot of lessons to be learned tonight for Pegula, just how she's reacted in the moment. Obviously, she's annoyed with the balls, the conditions, and Azarenka's playing fantastic tennis, but I think she'll be a bit gutted with her attitude tonight and how she's responded to being back up against the wall for the majority of this match.
She's been in charge in all of her matches throughout this tournament and not dropping a set on the way through. A couple of times pressed to tie breaks or pushed to the very end of the set, but this has been very, very different. He's got to find something in these late stages.
Love 15.
It's a long, long comeback to mount, but you never, never give up. The reigning Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina is already into the semi-finals by virtue of her victory over Yelena Ostapenko earlier today. And she's very close now to joining Rybakina. First set took over an hour. We've just had around about 35 minutes so far in this one. Well, she can do it in the next couple of points. She may not need both of these. It's a very dejected Jessica Pegula, and the world #3 is on the brink of being put out by the two-time former Australian Open champion. Azarenka is back. A first Australian Open semi-final in a decade. It was in 2023.
time coming for Victoria Azarenka, getting to this stage, start of the year, and having a shot to go even further. And she had to bring it tonight. She knew she had to play some of her best tennis against Jessica Pegula, who has been playing lights out on her own side of the court. Disappointing night, though, for Pegula. Didn't quite play as well as she has been.
Jessica Pegula.
Really one of the favorites, became one of the favorites for the tournament as this first week and a half unfolded. But I think a lot of Pegula's struggles just had to do with how well Victoria Azarenka played. She was so impressive, the way she pushed Pegula out of points, pushed her further and further back behind the baseline time and time again. And those 2 points where she came in at the end of the first set on Pegula's serve at 5-4, I think that gutted Pegula a little bit, and she wasn't quite the same after that.
Oh, Azarenka through, what a performance it's been. And she's speaking with Casey Delacqua.
Well, Vika, congratulations. I had a bit of nostalgia sitting courtside, thinking about 2012, 2013. The tennis you played tonight was just incredible. I know you have a lot of respect for Jessica. How was it tonight out here against Jess?
Well, it hurts to beat her because I always want her to do well, but I also, at the same time, I know I have to play my best tennis. She's been playing amazing, very consistent, and I knew from the first point I have to bring it. We had so many, so many rallies, and I just wanted to try to stay there, take opportunities, because she was, she was gonna take everything if I don't try to win myself. And I'm very proud that I executed my game plan really well, and yeah, it's so amazing to be in the semifinal of another Grand Slam.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because it is your best Grand Slam result here at the Australian Open since you won here last in 2013. How special is it to be back here in Rod Laver Arena with the great man Rod Laver watching himself tonight? How special is it to be back here?
Honestly, a little bit nerve-wracking because I feel like, you want to show your best tennis in front of the best. And I hope I did that today and you guys enjoyed watching me because I really tried my best.
Now, tonight, your game plan, you said you stuck to your game plan. The game plan worked great. You hit your forehand with a lot of pace. You look to come forward where possible. I can tell you've done extreme amount of work in the off-season. How much has that helped you to get here to the semi-finals so far?
Yeah, I felt like, especially last year, my tennis wasn't bad, but I wasn't really mentally there to go out there. I played with a lot of fear, with a lot of anxiety, and it really was difficult to be brave and to make the right choices in the important moment when you feel anxious, when you feel hesitant. And I worked a lot on my mindset, challenging myself on things that I wouldn't really do before, and try to push myself forward because, when you achieved great success, sometimes you become conservative and you don't try, a bit more hesitant to try new things. And this off-season I was like, I just be open-minded, try new things, and put my head down and work hard.
And yeah, absolutely. And just lastly, when you become a parent, you are always playing for something bigger than yourself, obviously. And how much does that help your mindset, knowing that you're playing for something more than just yourself and obviously your beautiful son, Leo?
Well, Leo doesn't really care so much that I'm playing here. He worries more about his football and when we're gonna go play again on the. But obviously he's watching some matches, but he definitely wants his mom to be home. So a few more days here and I'll be back. It's actually my dog's birthday today, so I miss my dog also so much. I've become a dog mom as well, so I have 2 kids now.
Well, we can all relate to that. Vika, stay around for a lot longer because your tennis is incredible. Please give Victoria Azarenka one more round of applause.
Well, a popular winner here tonight, make no mistake, and doing it in front of the tennis royalty as well.
I mean, she, you know, is so refreshing at times, just being honest about what she's dealing with, how nervous she was playing in front of the legend Rod Laver himself, but you wouldn't have known it with the way she came out. She kept swinging, saying that she wanted to be able to be free and not have fear. And I think this match, probably more than any other, really showed it, highlighted it at times. She made some incredible moves when she needed to, and she took a few more chances, believed in her shots and the forehand. Sometimes that can not be quite the weapon, but for Azarenka tonight, it was on point, and it was just impressive. It was fun to watch how she went out and implemented her strategy and, you know, kept it up even when things got a little bit tough.
And now that she's taken out the number 3 seed, and Pegula was really one of the favorites, given that there's no Świątek, no Jabeur. She was the highest ranked player that was left in the draw. So where does this leave Azarenka in terms of the tournament going forwards?
Well, you get to this stage of a tournament, nobody knows better than Vika Azarenka what it takes, and she's got to feel like she has just as good a shot as anyone now. She played pretty cleanly throughout this match, 17 winners, way fewer unforced errors at just 20 compared to 31 for Pegula. The break points, she was able to generate 13 of them, converted on 5, and those were important, especially at the end of the first set. And it was the aggressive play. Those net points won 14 of 20, but it was the timing of some of those points that was so critical. And in the end, Azarenka made it look somewhat one-sided towards the latter stages, even though it was a battle.
Oh, well, the roof is opening for the remainder of the night, or at least as long as it stays dry. If you start the match under the roof, you'll finish the match under the roof. But the men's match to come with Stefanos Tsitsipas, the number 3 seed. But this is how the semi-finals here shaping up. Azarenka taking on the reigning Wimbledon champion in Elena Rybakina. And now Sabalenka is the highest ranked player left in the draw as the 5th seed here, but it's been once again a tournament of upsets with big names dropping out.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier, and Azarenka is the only player left that has experience winning a major, winning here in Australia. That may count for a bit. She's got to deal with some more big hitting from Elena Rybakina, and we'll see how she handles that, but she certainly played a very confident match. That is going to hold her in good stead. And we still have some fantastic tennis to look to. 2 other players trying to book their spot in the semifinals in the women's draw.
So much still to look forward to. Thank you, Chanda, for your contributions tonight.
That was fun.
It was fun. Azarenka is playing some scintillating tennis. If she brings her best, she is very hard to beat. She's dispatched the 3rd seed, Jessica Pegula. And the 2-time champion in 2012 and 2013 is back for some more. She's into the semis. 6-4, 6-1.